Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the On the Same Landing Page podcast. This year we're going to give you a baker's dozen of podcasts and revisit some of our best bits from 2022. So our first section, as always, is called 10 Minutes with a Marketeer. If you cast your minds all the way back to the very first episode we did with Paul Kutschmarski, he gave some solid advice about how businesses can navigate uncertainty.
In that same conversation, instead of getting caught up in the panic and the fear of the whole moment, zoom out to 6 months, zoom out to 12 months. And in particular for us, zoom out to compare this year to 2019 or 2018. And all of a sudden those arrows, they I don't know what's more green than green, but they're big up and right. You know what I mean? Everything's moving in the right direction. So with kind of, longer term marketing methods in mind, I think right now the advice is to zoom out and look at a longer period of time and just let those peaks and troughs smooth themselves out.
That clip might have been recorded 12 months ago, but the advice still stands, particularly as we enter 2023 with times of economic uncertainty. Now cast your minds forward another 12 months to our latest episode with CEO of Play It Forward, Jake Criswick, who talks about navigating uncertainties in the charity sphere.
Jake, what was your experience with ad grants? I know you're kind of like, as you said, testing in the beginning phases.
Yeah, I think it's something, as I said, that we've kind of only started in the last few months, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say we're yet to see the real results of how it's working. I think it's a great scheme, and I think every charity should explore it and sign up to it.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of charities don't treat themselves as businesses, but they should take a more kind of business-minded approach in their fundraising. We can't just rely organically on people donating and generosity. We have to try and reach new audiences and to do it in a way that's driven by data, and digital is the way forward. So we have to adapt, and I think a lot of small charities aren't, but I would definitely encourage them to take the same approach, try it out, see what happens. It doesn't really cost much at all. And it's amazing. It's free money. So
Exactly.
we're kind of silly to turn it down in a way.
So charities need to take advantage of grants to propel themselves digitally. But what about businesses? We spoke to Vanessa, who talked about the importance of building an unshakable brand, both in the real world and online.
I think it's being intentional and actually taking the time. I'm not saying taking all the time, but like having regular touch points about the things that matter. Because even ultimately, even like just recruitment, if you're trying to scale and you're trying to grow, like it's much easier for a brand like Deliveroo to hire than it is whatever like food delivery app that no one knows about. Because like the minute someone shares that job, everyone will recognize the brand. I mean, that is obviously aside from culture and what actually goes on. But like at the end of the day, like it radiates across all aspects of business. And I think there are some fundamentals, like what your values are, what like your purpose, your mission, like what all these things are. And I guess there are business goals, but the value proposition is quite central, and like it's quite central and fundamental to what you're trying to achieve as a company and a brand. But then again, you have to position yourself on the market. So you can decide to position yourself from only the perspective of performance and only the perspective of like the bottom line, or you can decide to actually determine what your mantra is. And that is somehow an exercise that you can do as a brand. That's not going to cost you like millions, but that still helps everyone in the team and in the company articulate what their work is, what their work ladders, if that makes sense. So,
Vanessa challenged strategies that solely focus on the bottom of the funnel marketing. Working on how your audience perceives you is absolutely vital. Likewise, Adrian highlighted the importance of understanding your audience's customer journey, sharing real-life experiences. He got into some detail.
The principle's the same, but unlike, let's say you're searching for something that you're looking for a specific product, you see an advert, it takes you to Amazon, you buy the products, done. There's sort of end of the transaction. As a wedding photographer and a wedding venue, the purchase isn't that immediate. So really with the advert, you're trying to get people to engage with your website, see what you can do and what you can offer, and then you sort of try to entice them to inquire at that point. So really it's the first kind of step towards a sale rather than taking you directly to a sale. So really our kind of flow for couples is that they'll discover us, they'll hopefully come to the website, really like what they see, they'll inquire, then they'll come for a show round, which is sort of the second major step where we'll discuss things in a lot more detail, and then that will hopefully transition onto a booking. And in say, compared to wedding photography, wedding photography was a simpler process, but a similar one.
And what about diversity? We spoke to Riley about whether things were actually changing in the gaming industry when it comes to marketing events and exhibitions.
Since you started running events specifically with inclusivity in mind, have you seen diversity increase? And do you measure that? Do you track events?
100%. We have seen an increase in the kind of people that are coming to our events, and it's incredibly more diverse. Kendricks, who is the CMO at Wiggy, actually said to me, and I hope she won't mind me saying this, but she said, you know, I've been going to ESI events for a few years, but I've only felt, I've started to feel more comfortable being here since you started working on the events. And I was like, wow, that's so flattering.
We've got some brilliant guests scheduled in for this year, including more leaders representing non-profits, so stay tuned.